Well, hi everyone. Welcome to another Monday Thought for the Week. And this week, when we think of the anniversary of lockdown and all that has gone on, such a difficult time we've had. As always, I want to bring you, I hope, a word of encouragement and maybe today a word of challenge. And as always, I've found something to help me do that. These little things, well, these little birds, we've had them, as you can probably see, for many years now. A lovely gift whenever we moved into our very first manse. These little birds reminded me of the story released in this past week in the news about a rare songbird which has become so threatened that it started to lose its song, according to some Australian scientists. The bird is called the regent honeyeater. And there was once loads of these birds in southeastern Australia, but now it's listed as critically endangered, with apparently just 300 of those birds left in the world. Have a look online to see a photograph of them. They're beautiful. Well, why has this happened? Well, according to the scientist involved, a man called Ross Crates, they don't get the chance to hang around with other honey eaters and learn what they're supposed to sound like. They're now so rare, and the area that they could occupy is so big, probably 10 times the size of the UK, that this guy, Dr. Crates, says it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. Well, during his search, he started to notice that they were singing what he called weird songs. They didn't sound like themselves. They sounded like a different species of bird altogether. And it turns out that the songbirds learn their song the same way that we humans learn how to speak, from those who are older than us. And Dr. Crates says that the young birds, when they leave the nest and go out into the big wide world, they need to associate with other older males so that they can listen to the song and repeat that song over time. So regent honeyeaters are unable to find other males and hear their songs. So what do? Well, they end up learning the song of other species. The natural song of the honeyeater has nearly disappeared. As I was reflecting on that, I was thinking about this past year for us. This pandemic has had a similar effect on some of us, hasn't it? We've lost our voice. We've lost our song. There are many of us who have found ourselves in such difficult places during lockdown. We miss being with family, with friends. We certainly miss being in community, whether it's a church community or an organisation or that we're involved with, or even school. And thank goodness the children here in Northern Ireland, many of them are back to school today. If that's you, and you've been feeling down or troubled, or you just feel, you know what, I've lost my voice, I've lost my song, talk to someone. Your friend, maybe a family member, your doctor, your own minister, and if you're part of First Bangor, don't hesitate to call me. But as I was reflecting on this, there's something else that came to me when I read the story of the honeyeater, and that was Psalm 78. We find these words there. My people, hear my teaching, listen to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth with a parable. I will utter hidden things, things from of old, things we have heard and known, things our ancestors have told us. We will not hide them from their descendants. We will tell the next generation the praiseworthy deeds of the Lord, his power and the wonders he has done. He commanded our ancestors to teach their children so that the next generation would know them, even the children yet to be born. And they in turn would tell their children. Then they would put their trust in God and would not forget his deeds, but would keep his commands. The honeyeater young have to associate with older birds to learn how to sing, to get their voice. And it's the same for us as people. We need those who are adults, those who are older than us, to teach and to train us. It's certainly true for us as children as we look to our parents, and it's certainly true for us as parents and grandparents, as aunts and uncles, to be so careful when there are children and young people about. It is certainly true for us as Christians. We are called to teach in word and in deed the next generation about the Lord, who he is, what he's done for us, to teach our young people and our children to make godly choices, how to behave properly in relationships, how to love God and how to love our neighbour as ourselves. As I watched the images on the television last night of the rioting in Bristol, if you haven't seen it, watch the news or go on to the news online and see there's so many young people involved. And it was with a heavy heart that I watched it. And I was thinking of this truth. So many are not educating, training and equipping the next generation to behave, to love, and certainly to be kind and helpful to everybody. What we saw last night in the news was not kind and helpful at all, albeit that I believe in the right to protest in peace for what you believe in. My friends, are you loving God and your neighbour? Are you recognising all that God has done for you in your life, his praiseworthy deeds, the gifts that he has given to you? And are you telling the next generation about that? And if you're part of a church and you're not doing that, and you're saying today, well, my faith is private to me, may I lovingly challenge you to say, that's not a biblical idea. We are called to tell the next generation the praiseworthy deeds of the Lord, all that he has done, his wonders. My question to you today, if you're a parent or a grandparent, what kind of influence are you to your child or to your grandchild or to that young colleague who works with you? How have you behaved during the pandemic? Has it been helpful to those around you, especially the younger members of your family or your community? I hope today that you'll remember the little birds, the regent honeyeaters, who are losing their voice and who are one day going to be extinct, who are singing the songs of other birds. Remember that you and I, we're unique. There's a call upon our lives that is unique to us. But we have a voice today. And it's time that we, especially as Christians, shouted from the rooftops about the love that we're called to have for one another and for God. And that means that we're called to be loving and kind and caring. Let's go against the flow of this culture, it seems, in this generation. And remember to tell all those younger people in your influence just what God has done for you. Happy Monday. Have a wonderful week.